Career and Transfer Services presents Virtual Interview Tips. 6 tips for a successful virtual interview. What is a virtual interview? It is simply an interview that takes place remotely and typically involves a video or audio conferencing software. The pandemic has especially impacted how employers and candidates connect, and leveraging technology to allow remote interaction is becoming a widely accepted part of the hiring process. The tips shared in this presentation will help you feel prepared if and when you're asked to participate in a virtual interview that will likely be held via Zoom, Skype, WebEx, or other popular online communication platform. It is important to know which program you will be using prior to your interview so that you can take the necessary first steps. This leads us to tip number 1. Test your technology. You will want to download and install whichever program will be used for the upcoming interview. Do this as soon as you know which one you'll need so that you have time to test it out and even practice with a friend so that you feel comfortable navigating the platform. The day of the interview, you'll want to check your internet connection to ensure it's stable and reliable, especially if you're relying on Wi-Fi versus an Ethernet connection. You definitely don't want to have any connectivity issues, so log into the program about 10 to 15 minutes before the interview is scheduled to begin so that you have time to troubleshoot any technical issues or to adjust the audio and video settings. Testing your technology beforehand helps ensure everything goes smoothly, and so it is following tip number 2. Be prepared. Just because you might be in the comfort of your own home doesn't mean you're participating in a casual conversation. Prepare for the interview the same way you would for an in-person interview. Research the company and review the job description. Visit the company website and browse their social media accounts. You can use a website like Glassdoor to read unbiased reviews submitted by current and former employees. All the information you find will help you learn how you can be an asset to the company. It will help you get a better idea of if your values align with the company's mission and vision. You should always go into an interview with a baseline knowledge of the company because you can use that information to form more compelling responses to questions. Review commonly asked interview questions to help prepare relevant examples of your experience and achievements. Career and Transfer Services has a helpful document available on our webpage that lists over 50 common interview questions. So take some time to practice answering these, but remember that the interviewer shouldn't be the only one asking the questions. Toward the end of your interview, you will likely be asked if you have any questions of your own, so you should have a few prepared. This is your chance to learn what it is you want to know about the company or the position. You can ask what the company culture is like or if there are any professional development opportunities. And before the interview concludes, ask what the next steps in the hiring process are so that you know what to expect. Tip number 3 is dress professionally. Just like how we talked about preparing as if the interview were to take place in person, this applies to how you should dress as well. If you're not sure what is appropriate, business casual attire is a good rule of thumb. An example would be a dress shirt or blouse and slacks. Your clothes should be free of stains, tears, and wrinkles, and don't wear anything too tight, baggy, or revealing. Wearing clean and professional clothing will not only make you appear polished and prepared, but you will also feel more confident because you are presenting the best version of yourself. A bonus tip is to try on the clothes prior to the interview and actually sit down to make sure you're comfortable wearing the outfit in a seated position. This is especially useful if you want to wear something that is new or that you just haven't worn in a while. The 4th tip is to minimize distractions. Be sure to find a quiet, professional-looking area with proper lighting that is away from anything that will distract you or the interviewer. Make sure that the light source is not behind you or else your features will be indistinguishable and you'll appear as more of a silhouette. Having a controlled environment secluded from pets or people who you cohabitate with will allow you to focus your attention on the interview. Give your housemates a heads up of when your interview is scheduled so they know not to interrupt. Also, don't forget that the interviewer will be able to see whatever is behind you. So open up your camera to get a preview of what will be in frame and remove anything that will detract from you being the focal point. Tidy up the space behind you and remove anything that is inappropriate. Another way to help you be the focal point is to be head-on and eye level with the camera. Use a hard surface instead of your lap so that the camera sits higher and remains still throughout the interview. Tip number 5 is monitor body language. In addition to keeping the camera at eye level as mentioned in the previous tip, be sure to look at the camera when speaking instead of the image of the interviewer. This is the equivalent of maintaining eye contact during a conversation and is very simple to do. Sitting with good posture is another simple but important element of body language. Keeping your back straight is a way to communicate confidence and alertness. If you're slumping, reclining, or resting your head on your hands, you'll risk appearing disengaged. So avoid looking bored and don't be afraid to smile or let some of your personality shine through. Try to avoid touching your face or playing with your hair so that you don't appear to be fidgety or nervous. You might find yourself readjusting because of the self-view video that displays when we're on a video call. If you find the self-view display to be distracting, you may have the option to hide or disable it depending on the program, but the most widely used video conferencing platforms will allow you to do this. The last tip for a successful virtual interview is to promptly follow up. Even if you feel as though the interview wasn't very formal, a thank you note is still warranted because the interviewers made time in their schedule to speak with you. In addition to wanting the employer to think you're a good fit for the job, you should also want them to know you have good manners. So send an individual email to each person you met with to thank them for their time. The email should be short and sweet, but you can still use this opportunity to reiterate why you are a good fit for the position, or even to mention something you forgot to address during the interview that you think may be important in the hiring decision. Be sure to send the email within 24 hours while you are still fresh in their minds. It may seem insignificant, but this gesture shows that you are gracious and appreciative of the interviewers. The key takeaway point of this presentation is that preparation is key. Before your interview, test the program you'll be using, find a designated, distraction-free space with proper lighting, choose an appropriate outfit, conduct company research, and prepare to answer and ask questions. If you want to be considered a serious candidate, then you need to take preparation seriously. Doing so will set you apart from other candidates and can help you land the job. Career and Transfer Services offers several resources and services to help you prepare for a virtual interview. In addition to the common interview questions document mentioned earlier, there are other helpful resume building and job search documents available on our webpage at owens.edu/career. Resume reviews and mock interviews are great services you can take advantage of, so do not hesitate to schedule an appointment with your career and transfer advisor. To schedule an appointment, you can call or email using the contact information listed here. You can also submit an appointment request form right from our webpage. Both virtual and face-to-face appointments are currently available. On behalf of Career and Transfer Services, I would like to thank you for taking part in this presentation and hope you have a great rest of your day.